Good morning, and here we are with V, the sign of a saint who has already had his first dose handed out to me, because I am a trunkhead when it comes to IT now. I cannot get it right. So he's sorted me out. He's sitting there calmly while I'm having a heart attack. Good morning, V.
Good morning. Good morning to you, and good morning to the viewers.
Now, this is your program. I am merely a footnote in history. You've got three things that you want to talk about this morning. So go over the headlines, and then we'll go back and go into detail.
Right, you are. So, by popular demand, there's three things that currently what most people need help with. And these challenges cause people anxiety and stress. So my service is for people to be relieved and feel peaceful in the three areas. One, technology. And that area of technology we're going to be talking about is AI, artificial intelligence. Number two, email management. Most people, or everyone's got emails, or they just don't bother with them because there's just too many. So we're going to be talking about how to manage your emails to have 0 emails in your inbox. Wouldn't that be great? And the third thing we're going to be talking about is, I have to look at my notes, passwords. So, again, it's to do with the memory, remembering things. So if we can discuss a very nice and simple way of remembering your passwords or creating passwords, and what's the difference between a basic password and a complex password. Okay, that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Right. Can I ask you a question before we start? It seems to me that AI has now managed to filter itself into almost everything on the computer. Am I right?
No, so it's not. It doesn't take over or take control of anything. It only does what we tell it to do. It doesn't have intelligence or conscience where it thinks for itself. It only takes an action or words that we've explained and asked it to do, and it will do those particular tasks and actions.
Yeah, but when I tap into what my email accounts, I've got 2 of them. It sometimes says that Copilot is, which is the one on Microsoft. Copilot is doing this, that, and the other, and I didn't ask them to bring Copilot in.
So usually, what happens with the different providers? So, for example, Microsoft purchased an AI platform, and it was purchased from ChatGPT, and then they rebranded it and called it Copilot. So Copilot is none other than ChatGPT, and Microsoft are doing what all other companies are doing, is trying to sell and push their product. Now, because most people in the world have either got a Microsoft laptop or an Apple device, and not many people have a Google Chrome device. Those are the three main operating systems that people use. There are also people that use Linux. So these are the five platforms, but most people use Windows 11 or Windows 10. And so on that platform, Microsoft dominates. So Copilot is integrated everywhere in Microsoft Edge for browsing, Microsoft Word, Excel, Outlook. And this is the reason why they always suggesting, and it's a suggestion, you can always turn it off. There's ways to turn off Copilot and not use it and disable it.
How do I turn it off?
Well, you can uninstall Copilot from your Microsoft Windows machine. So that will just get rid of it from being a program there and automatically loading up. But if it's in a specific program, for example, if you're in Outlook, you don't have to use it. It will just come up as a suggestion. You can just click on the X, and there's other options where I can provide the description of how to disable it in the description of this video for viewers who want more detailed explanation. That'll have to be a one-to-one thing.
Yes. Now, I think one of the great services that you offer is that you actually go to people's homes and sit with them at the computer. And I would say that while I partly understand what you just said to me, I really do need you sitting next to me to show me, so that it will imprint itself on my psyche, and I'll be able to say, "Aha! That's what V said." Boom.
Absolutely, and that's why I provide that unique experience of alleviating stress and anxiety, one to one in person. I listen to your challenge. I'll come to your home, and that's the difference between me and most other IT people. Most IT people don't go to people's homes. There's a lot of headache driving around and also going to people's homes. It takes up a lot of time, and not many people have that level of patience and time. In this fast-paced world, most people are interested in the quick buck. I just want to help people.
Yeah, and actually, it's working, isn't it? Uh, when I first met V, I could call him or email him, and I'd get an instant response. Now it's come back a week on Thursday because I'm busy between now and then. You're beginning to actually help a lot of people.
Well, I really am, and I can see what's happening, and I'm more than and I can see kind of see the vision in the future that, of course, my time will be utilized helping people. There's only a finite number of time I've got in the day and energy. So what will happen is I'm going to be starting to look at getting other people on this platform of this service, and I'll be training them, and then they'll be the tech saint or the tech angels going out there floating to people's
Yeah,
homes.
they'll be saying, Tech Angel, uh, who is Microsoft?
Absolutely.
Okay, right now it's your program. So you wanted to talk to people first of all about technology, then about AI, and finally about passwords. So away you go.
Great. So the first thing I'll be talking about in relation to technology is AI. It's a hot topic. A lot of people are scared, um, or they have an uncertainty about how it can affect their income, their job, how things are run and operated within a business. Again, it affects people who work for someone. But if you work for yourself, or if you're an, yeah, I guess let's call it a solopreneur person, one person business owner, or you've got multiple businesses, you're entrepreneur, or you've got a small team, maybe one or two or three people, or maybe 10. You can leverage on it if you're a small company by utilizing it. And it does take away AI. What it does is it takes the monotonous tasks, the tasks that take many hours or weeks to do, and it can compact it into minutes. Now, why would someone want to save time? Well, time is money, and for the economy, the business, commercial industry, corporate industry, they mainly focus on what's going to save me time. So they've spent a lot of money in investing in these AI solutions, and more companies and businesses are using it. Why? Ultimately, the main thing they're interested in is making the highest level of profit, and the highest expense for any business is a human being. So the best way for a business to make profit is to get rid of get rid of any high expenses, and that could mean a building. Could mean, why do we need to have a building? Let's get everyone working from home, for example. So it's just a natural evolution of making things quicker and faster for businesses, for the shareholders to make as much money. Now, it doesn't necessarily help people, right? Except if you're using a service from a company, um, then you might benefit. Well, you will benefit because you'll be like, oh, this is great. I can just do this quickly. But behind the scenes, you don't realize how is it possible to be so quick? It's because of this technology, these systems, these processes and procedures which are now becoming automated, which is how you're able to get the information. Like, I want to track my parcel, but it's not a human being phoning the driver saying, when are you going to deliver? Where, how far are you? That's not what's happening. It's all automated, this technology. So it's been around for a while. Most people use Amazon and other like post office, and they track their parcel. That's technology. That is a form of AI when it's automated and it's giving you the information you need straight away without any interaction with the human being. So in a nutshell, that's what AI is. It's developing into something much more than that now, and we just have to be more aware and not be so resistant for that change, because the more we resist, the more suffering we will actually occur.
Okay, V. Now, let me use myself as an example. As most people now know, because I don't hide it, I suffer badly from Parkinson's, and that actually sends me in the opposite direction. It slows me down rather than speeds me up. So AI speeding things up would be very helpful. But at my grand old age, I look at the screen and I think, how the hell do I actually ask AI what it should be doing for me? What can it do for me? I better get V, and I better get him sitting next to me. But as you pointed out, you're becoming extremely popular, and you can't be in 20 places at once. So getting hold of you is going to be more and more difficult. So how do I find out what AI can do for me at Mirador?
Great. So one of the things I'm doing to make it accessible for everyone is to create one-to-many group sessions. So I'll be doing that in various places, and that way there can be 100 or 200 or 30 people in one room, and they can all learn at the same time. Now, obviously, not everyone is going at the same pace, so it has to be facilitated with multiple helpers, with helping each person individually, with getting using their mobile phone, because most people have a mobile phone, and that's the quickest or the most simplest way to use AI is using an AI app on your phone. So you can get training one to one, you can get training one to many, you can watch a video on any platform like YouTube and just type in. You can even ask AI, how do I learn about AI? And it will tell you how you could learn about it. You can use various platforms, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini Pro, or and Copilot, and there's many others. And you can literally ask it, how do I use? Give me a simple explanation for, and then just give your age and say, I didn't grow up with tech, and I just want you to explain to me in a way I'll understand, and it will give you an explanation. And if you want it in person with me, I'll do the same. I'll show you how to use it. I'll set it up for you. I'll give you demonstrations of how you can use it using the camera, the microphone, pictures, and how you can not only it's not only to do things faster, but it's to do research which can take years or weeks or months, and that research can be done quickly. For example, and I'll give you an example of what that looks like. So I had a customer who's went to his house. He's walking very slowly. He goes, "You'll have to bear with me. I've just got diagnosed with Parkinson's recently, and it's a struggle for me to walk up my stairs." So we got to his room. I said, "Oh, sorry to hear that. Um, uh, are you getting the help you need?" He goes, "Well, not really. I've been waiting 7 months for the NHS to provide me with a nurse to speak to about what foods I should and shouldn't eat." I said, "You've waited 7 months?" He goes, "Yeah, they just keep delaying it. And I just don't know how to get the correct information." I said, "Well, that's research." I said, would you like me to show you how we can use AI to do the research required for your specific situation?" And I just spoke to AI on my phone on the app, ChatGPT specifically, and explained the symptoms and condition of this gentleman. And I told AI to create a one-page document, a printable document, which it provided me within seconds, of what he should and shouldn't eat based on his early onset of Parkinson's. I then emailed it to him from my phone. He printed it out within a minute, 2 minutes, and he was waiting to speak to someone about what he shouldn't eat, and he would have waited another 3 months, and he was so grateful. He's now in charge of his health. He's not at the mercy of the NHS or any medical professional. He can do his own research. Yeah, so that's
And
what
that strikes a chord with me because I know as I lie on the floor, having fallen yet again, how do I find out not to fall or whether I should be doing things differently? But it's actually some of the little things that I find annoying. Now, as you know, I am always looking for themes for television programs and so on. So this morning, very early, I mean, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I actually went on to AI and I said, what would our world be like, or what would England be like, if Harold had won the Battle of Hastings, if the RAF had lost the Battle of Britain, if Princess Diana hadn't died, and it gave me a wonderful, wonderful scenario. You and I shouldn't be talking right now, by the way. But I then thought this is worth saving and this is worth working on and reading in some depth. So I blanked it out, hit C, went to a blank page, hit V, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, Control and V.
Yeah, and it did not copy out. So I find that very frustrating. Here it does all sorts of things, but doesn't give me the facility to copy and paste it.
Oh, I understand your frustration. At the bottom of every chat, there's two little squares. That's the copy link. If you click on that, you don't have to select the text. If you just click on that little icon on the bottom left when it's finished, it copies the entire whatever the AI has said to you. And instead of doing Control and C, because sometimes that's the challenge, then you can go to whichever program you need to, right click and paste, or Control and V. It'll paste in Windows, and it will paste all of that text. You can even say to it, can you create this into a PDF format for me to print out? It will convert it into a PDF format. You say, here it is, click on this, and you'll download a PDF. So that'll save you having to control C and V, because it will just create it into a PDF. Say I want this in a printable format, a file like a PDF, so I can print it, and it will give it to you.
Oh, right. Now there you see, that's a very good demonstration, folks, of what you get from V. Is things which are very irritating and making me dance up and down. You see, he's solved literally within about a 2-minute chat. So do recall when you're getting frustrated that this is the sort of thing that V can help you with. Now, V, you actually have said that you want to be sharp, that people don't want to listen to you for more than half an hour, although I find you fascinating. And we've actually been 18 minutes now, and we only covered one topic. So on you go to the other two topics, using the last 12 minutes or so to get across your message.
Absolutely. So what we've done up to now, Keith, is that we've looked at something quite in depth. So people have now had a taste of what it's like when they have that one-to-one conversation with me. So the next two topics, I'm going to be focused on solution instead of the problem. So the next topic we're going to talk about, and before I talk about that, if anyone's got any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on 07961 187 864. I'll give that number at the end, and you can send your message to me as a text message or WhatsApp, or if it's a phone call, then feel free to call me and ask me the question. But if I don't answer, please do leave me a voicemail, and I'll respond back with an answer. And there's no charge for me providing you with an answer to your question if it's sent on text or WhatsApp, because I'll just respond as and when I can. If it's something urgent you need help with immediately, then definitely do phone me. So that's how I can help you over the phone or in person to relieve your anxieties with technology. So the next thing we'll talk about.
Just say something that V won't, is his rates for coming to see you are very, very, very competitive in the marketplace. In fact, they're almost so low they're hard to believe. And so don't hesitate if you need him to think in your mind, here's an expert that I can probably get to my home for much less than I anticipated.
Absolutely. I'll expand on that because that's really important, because a lot of the main thing is people have a problem, they need a solution. And the first thing they come to is like, think about is, how much is this going to cost me? Now, I've been in the corporate world for many years. I just recently turned 47. Some 3 years of it being a half a century. And I'm using all of that, all of the IT wisdom and knowledge. So I've decided I'm packing it in. I'm not going to work for a business anymore. I'm not going to even help any businesses or companies because they're just in it for themselves. I've decided I'm going to help the people. So I do not charge any fee for coming to your home. I'll say that again. I do not charge any call out fee to your home. I only just charge for my time when I'm with you, and I'll share what that would be with you when I'm with you, because each situation is unique. If it takes 10 minutes, you just pay for 10 minutes. If it's half an hour, you just pay for half an hour. Simple as that.
And I mean, that is quite unique in my experience anyway, having dealt quite a bit with various computer people. It is a very, very, very good service. Very good service.
Thank you. So one of the main things I do with people in my main service is to help them with their day-to-day life. And people, and that's moving on to the second point, which I'm going to talk about, which is emails, email management. We all have emails, because when we subscribe, when we pay for something, we buy something, or we have a bill, our energy company emails us. Or it could be if you're sending you need a notification about your recent health check, the doctors, or your x-ray results. That will come to you via email. Now, it might not necessarily, the results won't come to you via email, but you get a notification via email or a reminder. And emails can be, people are very frustrated. There's too many. Often get people asking me, how do I get rid of these emails? So I'm going to be sharing the solution of how you can have a zero inbox, a zero mail inbox. Now that doesn't mean, that could mean there's two ways you can look at it. Either you'll have zero unread emails, okay, or you could have zero emails in your inbox. Now most people understand, who in the corporate world understand zero email mailbox. That means no emails in your inbox. Now, even at the thought of having zero emails in your inbox, I think that makes people feel very relieved and think, phew, finally, I've done it all. I've got it. I've dealt with all of my emails. And the feeling that you get out of having zero emails in your inbox, that's what I can help people with too. That's email management. And that's the solution. Now, how do we get there? It requires us to follow a particular structure. I'll give you the tips and the tools and the knowledge, the know-how of how to get zero emails. And I won't go into detail except say one thing. One of the things I will show you is how to structure your mail folders for the important emails you want to keep. So you'll filter them out of your inbox. And then the other thing is how to unsubscribe from all this marketing email. I'll show you how to do that. And once you've done those two things, and that will get your inbox, your emails in your inbox right down to a manageable format, then amount, and then you can go through them as well to clear them out, whether you want them or not, and you put them to a mail folder. And then then it's easier to stay on top of it, because you're not going to get hundreds of marketing emails every day. And there you have your zero inbox. How does that sound?
It sounds very good, but can you be selective? I mean, for instance, my daughter is 400 miles away, and I like emails from her. I don't like the rest. How do I take emails from her and not anybody else?
So we can create a rule that any emails coming from your email, a particular email address, goes to a particular mail folder in your email folder structure. So that way you'll have a little number next to the name, the daughter's name. It'll have on the folder. The folder will be called your daughter's name. There'll be a tiny little number. That number is how many unread emails are in there. And then when you read an email, that number will reduce down from whatever 10 to 9 to 8 to 1. Once you've read all the emails, then there'll be no little number next to it, but the folder will remain. And all emails from your daughter will go to that folder, and it won't be in your inbox.
Right. Splendid. Okay, now we've got 5 minutes left. The other thing is where I get to throw the computer through the window is with passwords.
Yeah. So this is a touchy subject because you'll, in relation to what other people's advice is. But my advice is, of course, like what everyone says, keep your passwords secure. The main problem I'm finding is how are people supposed to know the passwords to all of their platforms or websites or apps? It's crazy. It's very difficult to keep a comprehensive list of all of your platforms, all of the apps, all of the things that you need a username and password for. But I'll go through that. I've got a unique approach, and it's only specifically designed for people who did not grow up with technology, because it will be a different approach for someone who's 20 years old or 30 years old, because they'll have a different. They grew up with technology, so they'll be au fait with the password manager, for example. But with people who did not grow up with technology, there has to be a different way where it's more visual, it's easy to identify and find out. But what I will say, what I can say is, what tends to happen is creation of a password is needed, like a reset of a password because you've forgotten. I have to do that quite often. And then the common question is, what kind of password should I create? And I explain that, and I'll just say it briefly. I tend to say to people, it must be not an easy word to understand. It shouldn't be any words in the password which relate to you or where you live, or common words, and it should have sufficient characters. I would suggest more than 10 minimum, and with capital letters and numbers and special characters. And then I help people help them understand how they could curate their passwords and how they could remember what they've created.
Right.
So that's the unique part, is how I help them curate their own passwords, and I help them with a process and a method for them to remember what those passwords are and for which platform.
Right. And now you're due here tomorrow, aren't you?
So I'm going to be there at some point on a Wednesday.
I may hijack you for half an hour.
Absolutely.
But let us say we've got a couple of minutes left. Let me tell you that V doesn't only concentrate on getting new clients and looking after the elderly. He is very aware of the need to look after the young. And he has in Brighton a colleague with a studio who actually looks after young people and trains them. And he's talking to us. I say us, he's part of our team. But we are talking about expanding our reach with the through the studio and with the cooperation of his friend and colleague to reach younger people. So despite the fact that we're here and he's just boasted about being 46. We are cognizant that we need to look after younger people, and that is becoming more and more. As those of you who have watched Gareth Southgate, Sir Gareth now, Gareth Southgate on the BBC will have seen this past couple of weeks. There are a lot of youngsters who can't even get up in the morning because they have no objective, nothing to aim at. We're trying very hard to look at a combination of us and your colleagues in Brighton, where we can give motivation to youngsters and at the same time help ourselves in as much as we need younger people in this industry. It is going ahead at such a tremendous pace, I can't keep up with it. And most of my colleagues who are of a similar age can't keep up with it. We've still got great ideas, great platforms, great themes lying on the desk, unused because we can't keep pace with the technology. So we are, through V, cognizant of the fact we need to help younger people. And one of our other colleagues, Teddy, was in this morning having an early morning chat, and he also is very keen on this. And he said, tomorrow we'll hijack V and get him to talk and how we can talk to his colleague in Brighton. So you're going to be hijacked for several reasons tomorrow. But we're not goodies. We don't fall over backwards and say, oh, look at us, aren't we fine chaps? But we do think very carefully about the needs of society and how we can help. What you see here is how we can help older people master high tech. But what we are also doing is developing a plan for youngsters to get involved in high tech and perhaps even, like V, make it a career. So there you are, to the right, to the left, and we're trying very hard to not be all things to all people. You can't be that, but to at least do some of the things that we're aware of that society is beginning to find difficult with IT. IT that V is a master of. So there you go.
And I would like to extend the invite. Thank you, Keith. If anyone's got an idea of us being at their business place, helping educate and having a conversation, should I say, with any employee and people in the community where we can support and integrate and create a connection with people who are very wise and experienced with people who are not so wise and experienced, and we can create a channel, a conduit who can pass on the noise and help so people don't have to suffer in silence and don't have to be alone. We're all together to support one another in this human life.
Thank you, V.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to help one-to-one, please get a pen and paper. It's get ready, time to write down and some important numbers. So here we are. The number for the texting is 07961 187 864. I'll drive to you at no charge and we'll get it resolved at a time convenient to you in the comfort of your own home, and you will be left with feeling of peaceful and confident managing your day-to-day affairs.
Right, now there are a whole host of people out there saying, damn it, I didn't have a pen or a pencil, and now they've got it. So will you repeat that number?
Got it, will do. So it's 07961 187 864. That's 07961 187 864. And you can check out more details and testimonials on technologysaints.co.uk.
Right, now, it is the witching hour. We are about to turn into pumpkins and mice and pull away from the ball, having lost a slipper. We are rapidly coming up to July the 1st, when we will start to formalize these programs. So you will know that, for instance, on a Tuesday at 10 o'clock, you can tune in and you'll be able to listen to V. You tune in and be able to listen to Teddy. On a Thursday, you can tune in and listen to Harry Atherton. For the moment, we are doing it ad hoc to see how some of these programs go before we actually say, right, okay, here's a slot. So don't despair. We'll soon be at a situation where you will know when you can listen to V and to his very sage advice on the IT front. Till then, toodle pip.
Bye-bye, everyone.